Hello, everybody. We are going to be going over our second lesson in our note packet on proportion. So, yesterday we talked about a ratio, right? And now we're going to talk about, hopefully that stops, perfect, what a proportion is. But we need to know what a ratio is to write a proportion. So, remember, a ratio is just a comparison of two numbers, like blank over blank. The apples compared to oranges, right? Now, a proportion is an equation that says two ratios are equal, okay? So it can look like this. A number over a number is equal to another number over a different number. So A over B, one second guys, I'm gonna see if I can change this up. Okay. A over B equals C over D. Now it's typically you would have solved these in like 7th grade, but with COVID and just how where the world was at that point, it's hard to say if you did or not. But it's very easy. We do something called cross multiplying. And it's kind of like, or the butterfly method, as some of you might know it. But you take like 2 times x, so I'm going to put 2 times x. And I'm going to go the other way. 4 times 7 equals 4 times 7. And now we just simplify. So 2 times x we know is 2x. 4 times 7 is 28. And now you guys know what to do, right? We simply just divide. 28 divided by 2 is 14. And there we go. That's it. And now it's just kind of rinse and repeat. That's really the gist of it. So if we do this one, x times 8, or 8 times x, is equal to 10 times 4. And now we simplify. What's 8 times x? 8 times x we know is 8x. 10 times 4 is 40. Divide out. X equals 5. So why don't you, we'll do this one together because it's a little different. So same thing here. And it doesn't matter which one you put first or second. I'm going to go with whatever one has the variable first, but it doesn't make a difference. So 2 times that whole thing in parentheses, x minus 3, is equal to 10 times 4. Now again, we simplify. Got to distribute that 2, so 2x, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 10 times 4 is 40. Add over 6. We'll get 2x equals 46. Divide by 2, and we'll get 23. Perfect. All right. Same thing down here, folks. We're just having more practice with solving these proportions. I like, again, to start with the side that has the variable with it. So I'm going to have 4 on the outside times x minus 1 in parentheses times 8 times 6. Now we simplify. Got to distribute that 4. 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. 8 times 6 we know is 48. Now solve like normal. Add 4. Divide by 4. And we should get 13, right? Okay, why don't you guys take a second and try these ones and then compare with me. I know half of you have not tried these and you're just waiting for me to write the answer, but I'm going to go ahead and solve them. I really did hope that you tried on your own and you're just checking to see your work. I'm going to have 6 times x plus 5 in parentheses is equal to 12 times 4. Distribute that 6. 6x. 6 times 5 is 30. 12 times 4 we know is 48. Then we'll subtract over 30. We get 18. Divide by 6. X equals 3. Last one here, a little more challenging, but nothing you guys can handle. So 18 on the outside, 3x plus 4 is equal to 12 times 15. Distribute that 18. 18 times 3 is 54x. 18 times 4 is 72. 12 times 15 is 180, kind of a larger number there. Minus 72. 54x equals 108. Divide by 54. We simply get 2. Perfect. Okay. So now that you know the math behind it, where can you use this in application? Why is it important in the real world? And some of these examples are kind of silly, right? But you could use these in more practical applications. But just for our purposes, we're just going to try to understand the process, right? Even if they don't seem all that realistic for something in your life, it all kind of works the same. But it says a car travels 120 miles in 3 hours with a constant speed. How far will it take to travel 200 miles? So first we have to read the problem. After that, we have to set up what two things are we comparing. So if I look here, like what are my units? I have miles and I have hours. So I'm going to put miles over hours. And I recommend that you write this out. One second, folks. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So let's stop in here. So now you're going to go back and reread the question and write out your ratio. So it says a car travels 120 miles in 3 hours. So I would put 120 on top, because that's miles, over 3 hours is equal to, now we're trying to figure out how far it would take to travel 200 miles. Well, I know miles goes on top, so there's 200, and we're thinking about how long it's going to take. So that's my variable. And now from here, you guys, we have a problem like the front of our notes. We're going to cross multiply. 120 times x is equal to 3 times 200. And now we just simplify. 120 times x is 120x. 3 times 200 is 600. Then we'll divide out by 120, so x will be 5. So to travel 200 miles, it's going to take 5 hours. All right, let's try another one. 50 apples cost $25. How much would 75 apples cost? So what are the two things we're comparing? We have apples and how much they cost. So I'm going to put apples over cost. And honestly, guys, it doesn't matter which one goes on top or bottom. I usually just write it and how it comes in the problem, like whatever I read first. So now let's look at the first thing. I'm writing this comparison here. 50 apples cost $25. So I'm going to have 50 over $25 is equal to, now we're trying to figure out how much it would cost for 75 apples. So 75 apples going to go on the top or bottom. I'm hoping you're thinking top, right? Because that's where we put apples. So 75 on top over our cost of x. Now we're going to do our little cross multiply. 50 times x is equal to 75 times 25. And now we simplify. 50 times x is 50x. 75 times 25 is 1,875. Divide by 50. X equals $37.50. So if you were to buy 75 apples, it would cost you $37.50. And again, I know that seems kind of like a silly question. No one's going to ever buy 75 apples, but businesses would, right? If you're like Perkins and you're making an apple pie, they would need 75 apples. So it's not quite that out there. Okay, we'll do one more and we'll call it good, okay? Let's do this one here. Maybe pause the video and we'll end with this video right here. Okay, here we go. It says, it takes Mike 18 minutes to finish reading 4 pages of a book. How long does it take him to finish reading 30 pages? So what two things are we comparing? Minutes to pages. Okay, so now let's compare the first one. It took Mike 18 minutes to read 4 pages. So I have 18 over 4. Now we're going to compare the second piece. How long does it take him to finish 30 pages? Well, where's 30 going to go? Pages is on the bottom, so 30, x on top. Now we simply cross multiply. 4 times x is equal to 30 times 18. Now we simplify. 4 times x we know is 4x. 30 times 18 is 540. Divide by 4 and x equals 135. So it would take him 135 minutes to read 30 pages. Okay, we'll finish those 3 examples tomorrow, but if you would please look at, I believe it's your salmon colored worksheet. Let me look real quick here. Yes, the salmon one that I gave you yesterday should look like this. It's the riddle worksheet. You guys will be fine. Here, maybe we'll do the first one together so you can see what you're looking for. So you just cross multiply, right? So 9 times x, 9x equals 4 times 15. 9x equals 60. Divide by 9 and x equals 6.67. So you're going to get some decimals on here and that's okay. But I do want you to check to make sure you're doing it correctly. And if we look up here, we're going to put an S anywhere there's a 6 point. Now look folks, 6.67. What does that 6 round to? 6.7. So that's what we're looking for up here. Is there a 6.7? Yep, right here. There's an S. That might be it. Okay, but as long as you see it once, you know you have it right. So you're gonna just do the front today, and you'll be just fine. But maybe let's set up these 2 bottom ones, and you can solve them after. It says Argyle can read 7 pages of his book in 5 minutes. At that rate, how many pages can he read in 2 hours? All right, so we're looking at pages and minutes, right? So if we write the first part, he reads 7 pages in 5 minutes. So 7 over 5 is equal to, how many pages can he read in 2 hours? Well, I have minutes, not hours. So how many minutes are in 2 hours? Well, there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, so take it times 2, get 120. So x over 120. So you guys come back and solve that. Okay, then our last one here. If there are 1,200 calories in 1 pound of ground beef, how many calories are in 3 ounces of ground beef? Okay, so we have pounds and ounces we have to talk about, and then calories. So let's put calories over weight. We'll just kind of keep it at weight for now. So if we read this top part, I'm going to want to change pounds to ounces, because you always want to convert to your smaller one, right? So how many ounces are in a pound? 16. So we're going to have 1,200 calories over 16 ounces is equal to x, what we're looking for, over 3. So you guys come back and solve that. Okay, so again, today your only job is to finish this front side of the worksheet, and then tomorrow for your PLC day, we're going to finish the 3 examples in our note packet and then do the back. All right, thanks you guys, and please use your time wisely in the comments.